Doing okay. Getting more stuff implemented and just keep rolling out. Um all
Awesome.
good things. All good things. How about you?
Excellent. Yeah, we actually um just kind of working on some other campaigns that we've been building out for some of our clients. We run a bunch of different campaigns and or a ton of them anyways. And some of the clients that we have like I think I was talking about it the other day, but multiple locations, right? And then you're running ads and then instead of running like 20 different campaigns, how can we run everything as like one campaign? So we've been building out this like AI, not AI, but a tool that when you go to a website and you put in the address or your postal code or whatever, and it'll give you the closest business to your location. Or you pick like I want to make this store my like home location kind of thing. Doing the same kind of thing, but like with running ads. So when somebody fills out a form, they add their postal code in, and then we'll send them the closest we'll send them the closest business to them from their location. So if there's multiple locations in a state, then we can send them the closest either installer or dealer or contractor or whatever it is
That's
uh,
pretty cool.
to their location. So doing that, and then what's kind of neat about it is it's taken we've got these campaigns where we're running um, we might have a bunch of different installers. So for example, for Ontario, this is in Canada here, we've got 30 different installers kind of thing. And with the automation, we have you have to do like a whole bunch of conditionals, right? So you're like which city did they come in on kind of or come into. So instead of having, and we've got three different workflows here with about 30, each one has 10 businesses in there. We can get rid of that, and then each one of these has a bunch. Now we just got one, and then we can fire off a webhook here that fires off to our server with the details of the person coming in, which campaign we're using, and each one of those businesses, all like let's say there's like 80 businesses, they're all part of this campaign. We can do that and then fire back just the closest business. And then because of that, we've got their contact details and everything in there. And then we instead of having a bunch of different webhook or if conditions like which town, which city, which business, we've got one notification that goes out and it gets dynamically populated with the contact information for that business. So we send them their leads, and then we've got two Judy's coming in here. Yeah, and then we got one email that goes out to the business or to the contact. And with that, you can then say, hey, here's the closest business to you. Or in this case, we just say we've got this business is going to reach out to you here in the next couple days. So we got to test it out. We're using it with not this one. I made this one for workflows, but we were using it with AI as well. So we've got another system which is doing voice AI. So over the phone, somebody says what their postal code is or their address, and then the voice AI will do a switch and try and connect them directly with the business. And if they don't connect them with the business, then it'll tell them who the business is and then send them a text message afterwards saying, here's the business we tried to connect you with. They didn't pick up the phone, while we were on the call. But we're going to tell them to follow up with you. And if you want to give them a shout, here's their phone number.
That's pretty cool.
So it's kind of neat to do that. And then just trying to figure out how to make things effective, but still simple for everyone to use. The only downside to this now is we might have to figure out something for the front end if we want to do like a click to call. So on some of these landing pages, we have a, click this phone number to call, right? Or, click to call, and then we don't do um we're not doing text messaging through here. We're just forwarding the phone number. So then we can track if they click that button, if the call went through, whatever, all that kind of stuff. And then the only thing is we'll have to figure out if we can figure out like a dynamic way to, change the phone number if we're not going directly to AI.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Um,
I think
is
with
that the
some,
bottleneck?
well, with some of these campaigns, I think we have it going directly to AI. And then it does not, I don't remember off the top of my head which ones were going to AI or not. It might be these ones here if we click to call this, or oh, it's just going to this form. Gonna check that out. That's for Ontario. That doesn't seem right. Um,
Do you have to buy a separate number for each one of these before you or when you set it up, or is that something where you can do one of those what is it, um, call blocks or something like that, where they have
Number
like
pool.
numbers,
I don't
number
know.
pool?
I just have a number for each province.
I gotcha.
It would call, and then some of the numbers forward.
Oh, so
Uh,
you have it going to your own number, and then from behind the scenes, that you forward it to the right business based on the zip code or
yeah.
the code. Okay, guess but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so you can do that. So we buy the number and then we forward it to their thing. That way it still goes through high level. The only thing I noticed is what we would do with this is I don't know if we did it in this one or not, is we set the timeout, the call timeout, or maybe we don't have a call timeout on this one anymore. But setting the call timeout to a higher number than I think it's like I think it's like 20 seconds or something like that. Or not, it was something pretty low. And then what happened with that is um high level was picking up. Oh, here's our Ava numbers right here. These are our using Thinker AI for the voice. So this one will connect directly to the AI collection. I think we
Gotcha.
started out wanting to do multiple phone numbers for each. Actually, we've got a bunch of different campaigns running around in this sub account, anyways. So um, I can't even say which one it is, but it's not just the provincial ones, anyways. Yeah, anyways, um, lots of different things going on in there. But yeah, so we connect with Thinker AI, and then that fires things over to them, and then they have their own AI in here that will then um, chat with the person, and then we set it up to Thinker AI is actually really neat. One thing I like about Thinker AI is you can do outbound calling in there as well. I don't know if I can log in. I haven't logged in for a while. But one of the cool things about that I found with Thinker AI is, and we're going through this, is you can go to, um, maybe it's under contacts. Yeah, we don't really have contacts in here because we're not using it for that. But you can set it up so you can bring your contacts in, and then you can do an outbound call. And I don't exactly remember how we set that up, but if I started playing around with it, I know I figured it out. But yeah, it's really neat because then you can then if you have that list, you can call people and tell people of specials you have going on of things you want to notify them about and stuff like that, and it'll call and say hey and give them all the details. So that's really neat. Yeah, this is pretty. Yeah, I'm not gonna do it right now. Anyways, the AI stuff is pretty wicked. So learning more and more about that. I was actually inside of our IDE. I had inside of our development platform, and we are playing around with NFC cards. So I got this NFC. I just bought on Amazon. It's a pretty standard NFC card, and what it'll do is you can tap to it, and then you can have an action run. And actually, inside of our my development software, I've got AI connected to it with through I think it's through GitHub or through Visual Code, and told it I need an app for an NFC card. So when we tap it, it sends over to a website and it'll send the details of the NFC card over to that website. So it whipped up this little thing right here. Kind of had to it troubleshooted everything. And as I was going through this, I was like, if I was building this from scratch, I'd be like banging my head against the wall because like, why isn't this thing working? Why isn't this thing working? And the AI was like, oh, that's not running. Okay, well, let's fix that. Oh, and then it runs the test and it's like, oh, we're still getting this error. Okay, we'll run this test and then we'll run this thing and then we'll just run this thing. And then it just kept like reiterating and fixing. Okay, well, these things, this way that we tried to do it didn't work with the package that we have. So we're going to try it again using this different package. And then it rewrote it and ran it. And then after like, 5, 10 minutes of me hitting next, essentially, um, it came up with, it's like, here you go. You can put in the URL where you want to send the data from the card. And then every time you tap, it will um, it will basically send whatever the data is on the card over to that website. I was talking with Emily from Switch Society. They have a clothing store that uses our point system and stuff. And I've seen a lot of other people too. How can we have people check in, right? How can we manage check-ins? And it's kind of like having like maybe a tap system or um, like a gym, even a kind of a gym membership tap in, right? Like check in. You walk by, you tap your card to the thing and it'll check you in kind of thing. So if we had all the customer data on here, which could essentially just instead of I'd rather do that than have a um send people to a website. If you have a thing where people tap, their phone to a card and then it sends them to a website and then they can check in that way. And maybe they earn points for it, then they can keep just checking in, right? Kind of thing, even if they don't show up. But if we have on their phone or if we have on a card that just has like their contact ID, their customer, some of their customer information, they tap that card to the scanner, then we can send it to a URL that captures that data and then process that information without without the customer being able to abuse it. So um, kind of started playing around with that
That's pretty
to
sweet.
see what we could do with as a check-in system for I don't know if you, as a restaurant, you'd want to give all your customers like a tap card, but they might be able to do something through their phone to, right, save it to their wallet and then have an NFC thing that taps so they can check in when they get to the business too.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, Jason, how you
hi,
doing?
doing good.
Good. What did you build that NFC thing
Oh
that you were
yeah.
just talking about on the
Uh,
app?
Actually, just directly in my in Microsoft Visual Studio Code. But let's go here. Let's see. Pretty neat. So inside here, I've got an AI chat on the right hand side here, and I just kind of described what we want to build, and it's essentially I don't know if it connects with OpenAI or which one it connects with, but let's see if I picked an actual integration here. So extensions, GitHub Copilot, actually. So I've got, yeah, so it's GitHub Copilot and it's their own AI that,
It's
that,
GitHub Copilot AI?
yeah, yeah, GitHub Copilot Chat. So it's a AI chat features powered by Copilot. So, and then GitHub Copilot itself. and then that connects with our GitHub repository, and then I can be like, when I loaded it up, I'm like, hey, can we do this? And then even in here, I'm like, hey, can we create a new workspace? And or hey, I want to create a new project. Let's do, um, yeah, basically, I just said, I need a Windows app for, uh, I need a Windows app to listen for an NFC card using this NFC card reader. And then when that happens, take the data that's on the card and send it to a specific website URL. And then, yeah, we did that, and it kind of just drummed up this little thing right here. So I don't know exactly sent to webhook. Here it just kind of shows me where it's sending, but I have no, the problem is I don't really know exactly which information it's sending over at the moment. So I'm setting up, this is why I can configure this URL and I can capture that, the webhook information. And then I'm setting up Postman so I can send the data to Postman and it'll show me there and I can test everything out.
What's Postman?
Postman is a system, or like it's another program for monitoring webhooks and interacting with APIs. If you don't have like the whole system set up. So you can go and you can set up an API in here, or you can send a webhook. You can send information across, connecting with different APIs, and then you can see what responses you get back. So, for example, Stripe sends you whenever Stripe gets a contact or something like that. Every time somebody pays inside Stripe, you can set up webhooks inside of Stripe to send you information that, hey, somebody just paid, or whatever. So you could, if you wanted to test it, you could have that URL point to a URL that you set up inside of Postman, and then you could see what that data is. Same thing with High Level. If you wanted to send a webhook over to out from High Level to see what data you're getting, you can send that into Postman and then see. Conversely, you can go from Postman to another app as well. So if you have another app that accepts webhooks, you can send out a webhook call from from Postman and then go into your software too, so you can test those integrations.
Cool.
Yeah, I haven't used it a whole lot, but
So sounds
pretty cool.
like this check-in thing that you were just talking about after how you were talking about how you built this, you could probably build some sort of app for check-in with that too. That would build
Yeah,
itself.
that's kind of the thing. I was chatting with Emily from Switch Society, and she uses our point system to track all their clothes. So the way that their business works is that they've got a consignment store, and people pay a monthly fee to be part of that consignment store. Or it's not a consignment store. Let's say it's a used clothing store. I don't know if I'd call it a thrift store because I think they try to have like higher end fashions and stuff, whatever. But people pay a subscription to be part of that store. When they come in, they bring a bag of clothes. They can bring a bag of clothes with them. They earn points for the clothes that they bring in based on the quality and type and whatever. And then using those points, um, they can use those points to buy clothes in the store as well. So they get points for bringing clothes in, and then they use those points for the clothes that they brought in and do an exchange essentially for different clothes, and they use their points. So the points end up becoming a currency that they're using. And and the way the store runs is they just have a subscription model. So in order to use your points, you need to have an active subscription.
Oh, and you pay for pay money for the subscription.
Yeah, so you're basically paying for the membership in order to be part of it, and then
Right.
but they're looking to grow and franchise and build other locations as well because it's a really cool model. But one of the struggles that they're having is how do we track everybody who comes in, and more importantly, how do we track to see if a customer has an active subscription or not when they come through the door? You know, or
Right.
when they go to
Yeah.
pay or whatever. So imagine like Costco kind of thing. You pay your membership, and then with Costco, they check to see if your membership is valid, or I don't know why they check to see, make sure that you have a membership when you come through the door, and then when you go to pay, you have to show your membership card again. And then at that point, they'll tell you if it's expired or not, and say, "Hey, oh, you got to pay for this now too."
Yeah, apparently, I mean, that's a new thing at Costco. I shop there all the time. They said that they're doing it because a lot of people come in without memberships and then it causes wreaks havoc at the till and stuff like that.
Right, because I think you can't just you go to pay and then
You
oh, you
have to
don't
have
have
a
a member.
membership to buy something
Yeah,
there.
yeah. So
Unless actually, because it's weird, it's problematic. They made it problematic in that way for themselves. But I think they just want to know who's coming in, going in the store, and have a count on it. I think it's bullshit that you have to have a membership because they allow you they allow anyone, and not many people know this, but they allow anyone off the street to go in and buy from the pharmacy without a membership.
oh, okay.
So anybody can go in from and say,
Yeah.
I'm going to the pharmacy without a membership.
Oh, I didn't know
So
that.
yeah, yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, yeah,
Um, yeah, they have the scanners now. They don't have to look at anything or whatever. It's yeah, probably just to track to see who's actually showing up.
yeah. Or
And there's
who,
probably other data in there too.
oh yeah.
They can probably track,
That's
when did you show up? How long were you in the store for? And then
exactly. It's a data gold mine for
when did you
sure.
check out? How much stuff did you buy? How much did you browse? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's a data gold mine for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay. Well, does anybody have any like I know this is the support thing here, so if anybody has any questions about stuff, let me know so we can help with that. Otherwise, I'm cool to keep chatting all this stuff. One of the things that really kind of makes me unsure about the whole AI developing things is kind of some of the problems that some like essentially new developers run into is, hey, we built this thing. Like I haven't done I haven't done any .NET programming, but then I have AI build this thing, and I could probably read my way through it and figure it out because I've done so much. But it's like if I need to make changes, then what? Hopefully I can reach out to like chat with AI and be like, hey, we need to change this thing. And so far, it's been interesting and good that way, but it's a whole new like learning curve. And if you run into any kind of issues, um, I'm like, I don't even know if you had to do something manually. I don't even know where you'd start with it. It's interesting. Um, but so I don't know if things would be production ready, but I know people are there's a guy inside of High Level. They've built 1,200 apps for Marketplace in the last year. They're basically averaging 3.5 apps a day that they're putting into Marketplace. They're getting an award for it this year because they've got like the most apps in Marketplace now. Um,
Wow.
I have to assume that they have a system set up where they have the idea for an app. They literally put it into AI. AI builds the app and adds it to their thing. It'd have to eat. There's no way. Like I have no idea how else you'd have developers building 3.5 apps, adding that to Marketplace a day.
Yeah, and they're charging for all their apps, right? Is that right?
I think so, and that's kind of and of course, yeah, that's the thing to do in there too, right? They're just microtransactions. So
Right.
every time somebody checks out or somebody uses this thing or whatever, you get a penny or two, right? But it adds up quickly, and the
Yeah.
more you have in there, the better it is. So it's something to think about. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
Hey,
Wow.
Jason, I get it. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Judy.
Hmm.
No, that's okay. I'm just wowing.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
So I have this is unrelated to this specific topic, but
Sure,
it
absolutely.
is a technical thing.
Yep.
So when you create your snapshot and
Yep.
then you roll it out into another sub account, all of the automations and workflows, those should technically or theoretically be linked and just work in the new snapshot. I mean, in the new sub account, right?
They get moved over too.
Okay. And the
Yeah,
only reason I'm
they
asking
should all
that,
be linked up too. So if you have forms and everything like that all connected with workflows and all that kind of stuff, they'll all still work.
okay, that's what I thought. When I was just running a test on a snapshot that I built out, and when I went to log into the automation, it had a bunch of weird letters and characters, in the custom values or custom fields
Oh,
area there. So I just didn't know if after you created the snaps, I mean, after you created the sub account and pushed out the snapshot, if you had to go back in and like remap things, or if that should already be
no, you
mapped
shouldn't
out.
at all. You
Okay,
shouldn't have to
good.
remap anything. Like it should all work. Um, I'm even surprised, even like not just custom fields, but everything even has is, like similar IDs or they link back up even for like trigger links and stuff like that you have in the system, which you would think you would get like kind of a different trigger link ID, but the trigger links still have they all link up and I don't think the name of the trigger link even changes inside of like the
Okay,
trigger link merge key. And it might just be related to your specific sub account that it's in, however they track it. Like they can keep the same name, same merge key of the trigger link, just different sub account. But yeah, that all works too, and nothing of that changes.
gotcha.
It used a long time ago, it used to be that you'd have to link things up. You might have had to link things up, but it's gotten so much better over the last few years. I don't think anything needs to change.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. That's what I thought, but on my first experience of doing a rollout, things broke. So I think I'd probably just have to go back and
I wonder, like,
just do a new
we're
snapshot.
kind of at a weird time with high level right at the moment, just because they're rolling out a bunch of changes for level up.
I
That's
gotcha.
coming up. And so like last week, um, we couldn't log into high level and there was a few things not working and the locations API stopped working. And so there's a lot of changes happening now in the next week or two every time they load up one of their new features that they've built out for the Level Up conference.
So
Gotcha.
things are breaking because they're changing, right?
Yeah, they try to do their best to make it not happen, but occasionally they'll roll something out and publish those changes, and then it's like, oops, this thing over here stopped working. So it used to be much, much worse. Like I think last year even things are breaking, like especially during the level up week slash like the week before and the week after. Like it was just you didn't know. Some things are working, some things stop working, funnel stopped working. Like it was, they're rolling stuff out. But I feel like they've gotten way better at. I'm hoping they got way better at figuring that out. Making sure it's tested in and working before it gets rolled out to everybody. Yeah, there's also. I just learned too the other day that there's beta.go.highlevel.com and you can log in there and it's basically high level, but it's like the changes that they're going to be pushing out. So you can go test things there. You just use your same login. You'll see all your data and your same accounts and everything inside here. But it's under beta dot go high level, and then it's got the new platform and new changes and stuff that they're adding and changing. So you can test stuff out if you're building stuff, I guess. But for the most part, most people aren't ever going to usually use that.
Mm.
Yeah, so there's that. Um, yeah, I don't really have too much more updates. I still need to add staff trying to figure out the best way to add staff and logins to our system. So we were kind of working through that. That's kind of an update that we're working on. But yeah, kind of playing around with this NFC stuff. Had to do some stuff for our agency this week, so which is kind of put me behind on the Power Tools thing, but um, it's all good. So yeah, I
Can
don't know.
so
I don't really have any much more to chat about, but what do you guys think?
I got a
Yep.
question. Can somebody access your Go High Level account if they have your relationship number?
I think they would still need to have your password. Like you're using, need to have a user account on your system. I don't think they could use your relationship number. Maybe they could. How would they access it?
I don't know. I'm just asking. I have no idea.
Yeah, I
I
don't
was
think that they
wondering
can like
if
in
that's
order
possible.
to see any of your stuff, you'd have to log in. I think the relationship number would only be used for, contacting support or contacting high level in order to do that. But hopefully they'd have better security in there than
Well,
um
because High Level can access your account with your relationship number, can they?
yeah, I would think so. Yeah. I don't even know where do you find your relationship number? It's under
The top right question mark.
oh yeah. Um yeah, I doubt anybody else can use that other than high level. Unless they had access to the back end of high level to be able to do something with it. But I don't think you can do that through the API or anything. And then even with that, the way it works is they would need to have a login to your account because you need to log into your high level account in order to authorize anything through Marketplace anyways. So with OAuth, the API integration, there's no way that they could just use that number in order to log into your account. They'd have to have an agency admin username and password in order to do any connections with Marketplace. So, and then whoever has that could use the API to connect. So if you're connected to Marketplace and you gave them access to permissions or like the permissions were set because every time you access something through Marketplace, it'll show you the list of permissions that the business is requesting. If you had something in there like some of the more uh, dangerous, quote unquote, dangerous ones are like access to be able to add users and add locations kind of thing. Um, then they can make more changes or make themselves an account or something like that. But I think, you know what, when they first started high level too, I think one of the things there was you had agency admins and then it wasn't necessarily the owner. So now inside of if you go into Teams, you'll see or your company, it'll say who the owner is of the account. And then you'll have agency admins underneath that. So an agency admin can't do something like, kick out the owner, where in the beginning that was a possibility of somebody taking over your account, kind of like a Facebook community, but that was like years and years and years and years and years ago. Yeah,
Okay.
so I don't think that's a possibility. Yeah. Well, um, yeah, I don't really have any much more to chat about. That's kind of the updates from my end. And if you guys don't have any questions today, maybe we just kind of,
Actually,
uh,
I do have
yeah,
a question that
sure.
I don't want to ask record on the recording.
Okay.
I'll
Uh,
ask you a question that on the recording if
sure.
before you stop it. I'm sorry, Judy, I didn't
Yeah,
No
no problem.
problem.
No
stop
problem.
it.
No
So
problem.
it was just going back to the thing that we had a couple weeks ago with the rewards and the server tying back to a server. Did that ever get finished up? Because I wasn't on the call on Thursday, or is that still being worked on?
Rewards, say that again. I'm not sure.
Oh, I'm sorry, not the rewards, the reviews. When at the server's asking for reviews, and then we were going to tie the server to the
Oh, the
database?
server, as in the staff member.
Yes.
No, not finished yet. That was the one thing
Okay.
that I just said there a minute ago that I need to get that finished up.
Sorry. Okay. Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
so that I just said staff. So basically having a staff member tied to a card, and then I have the server pointing to the card ID being passed over to our review system. We just need to build the rest of the back end there to
Cool.
then track it. So I'll take a look at it. I'm hoping we've got family visiting this week, so it's a little bit wherever it is. Um, People kind of hanging around. So uh, we'll get
No, that's
as
cool. I mean,
much done
take
as
your
we can
time.
do.
I just wanted
But
to make sure I
I
didn't
hope
miss it.
I hope by the end of next week here I'll have that finished up, and then because all we have to do now is essentially say, okay, we got this card ID. It's inside of, we're tracking it now inside of the review tap. So now when we review tap, we just need to tie it back in and say, this person um, dropped that review. And then we have a webhook to see if that person left the review, and then it'll tie it into that card too.
Gotcha.
So I think I
Cool.
actually, let me take a
Thank
look
you.
right now.
That's okay. You don't have to, I mean, you don't have to go to do any of that. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss it because I wasn't on the
Oh
call
yeah, no, not
Thursday.
yet.
So cool.
Still working on it.
Okay. Thanks. Now you can take care of Judy now. Sorry about that. I just wanted to
Okay.
make sure you got that before you shut
Yeah,
the
no
thing.
problem. Okay, cool. Well, I appreciate it. Keep staying on me for things like that because I'll make sure that they get done. Okay.